sure that you develop yourself and develop yourself and of the changing trends of today. I'm very, very sure one of the professors will learn instruments of learning were not at their disposal as it is today. Even though object, I'm sure some of them will to ChatGPT, and then you really out and come back before once you rejected that you have finished the project. You even have a lot to double check it and ensure that you are doing the right thing that you're supposed to do. During my university, we used to maintain an FCS program under the tree. Because the day of spirituality and fear. Some of the people have spirituality, some of the people have fear of the so that they are crossed from one level to another. But in fact, the point of that is that even those that came as a result of fear, they became fervent prayer warriors. Before they knew it, the spirits floated into spirituality. And by the time they met this environment, they became even better individuals out there. So this is one thing that pharmacy does to students. Because you don't want to be a failure. And because you don't want to be a failure, you are forced to pay. And when you are forced to pay, you are forced to pay. And even and have an opportunity to be the man of power while you are still alive. So the way of this layer talks about divorce. The life is going to in the minds of the pharmacy today is not just about service delivery, it's about growth, adaptation, innovation, and leadership. We are no longer confined to the dispensary as it used to be. I'm sure you think about the way you attend, about the class, and then you're a teacher, or you're in the dispensary. But as pharmacists of today, we have opportunities to work beyond all of that. We are researchers, we can be entrepreneurs, we are advocates, we can be people members, and we can be change agents in government circles. I can tell you, I am really a change agent in government circles. When I today I sit in the individual that goes with the privilege to make a contribution. On Friday this week, we are going to be having an event at Christmas Hotel to discuss constitutional amendments that will reshape the thinking and the behavior of this country. And I'm happy to be able this. And I'm sure the men will very trying here in this room will be happy with one of the companies who have captured there. Part of the proposal which I mentioned that will sign is the inclusion of special reserved seats for women in Parliament. So these millennial basis, what it means is that we are going to have one additional senator for each state of the federation, including the FCT. But these are exclusively to be contested by women. So that's an opportunity for upgrading female pharmacy students and even women parents like our lecturers here. And we are also proposing that there should be one reserved seat in the House of Representatives for each state. And in the state assemblies, 3 men to be added as part of the affirmative action and gender balancing. So, as a change agent, I'm having the opportunity to be part of processes like that. And then I have to do medical practice that are also captured in the over 47 thematic areas of the constitutional amendment that we are on Friday this week and Saturday here in Jos on behalf of the entire North Central. And so, as a former student leader and party leader, and now a pharmacist and entrepreneur, by the way, I didn't have to introduce for myself. My name is John Cho. I am a John. I'm currently the executive governor of Plateau State. I will be president as a public servant. I am the founder of the company that a very is an entrepreneurial company. I said we can actually nurture an enterprise that can start from zero to becoming a hero. I'm a team of entrepreneurship. As far as professional is concerned, it can help you when you embrace learning and service that extend beyond yourself. And then you have this community, and that means they are by the way, many of them know that once the community there's absolute change. So he is just one example of producing a car at the same time being a pharmacist. This one is more of a celebration. It's an opportunity to learn, unlearn, connect, and grow. The lectures, workshops, and community activities are not just academic, they are seeds for professional information. You have to be committed about evolving into the kind of person you want to be in society. And this program gives you that leverage. And I'm sure you will take that opportunity as you go to this program. I encourage you to inquire and engage fully, ask questions, challenge ideas, build relationships, and allow yourself to shape how you see the future pharmacy. You are not just students, you are the future of healthcare. The innovators of tomorrow and the leaders the world is actually waiting for. In conclusion, being a pharmacy school is a journey. A journey that is there for all of us that were there as a company in 2000. One the instruments and tools are still 22. You will try to 20. What important is that one of you will want to go out here and stand like I'm standing before you to do on the history of experience, whether in the school and of course outside there. And so take advantage of the video. You can check it again. And I can show this profession has a lot to offer you in the nearest future. And I believe you are going to make that opportunity happen for you and your family and of course the society. I believe the government in that respect, you listen to as you and it was actually because you are respecting of where you come from and the feelings that each day for others to and all the positions of trust. He ensures you will continue to work very hard to ensure peace and stability is maintained in the purpose and in the state in general. So as a people sit to listen to the images of the very senior I'm delighted to have the opportunity to see you once again after so many years. Here with all the industry
shining example. I think I'm very well like.
Okay, it's back.
The very shining example, a mentor to so many. And I believe that as you give us this lecture today, we are going to gain a lot of insights as to how to evolve and become those agents. While this program proceeds,
we will seek your guidance to take our new achievements. We have chosen that my wife and I will be into the spirits. Even though she's doesn't admire for me, she's fully aware that I'm here. And she expects also her best plans and wishes to anything. I believe next time I will try to go to the physical net ticket so I can send people to come and join us to do this together. On behalf of myself, my family, I'm aware of the opportunity to speak with you. On behalf of myself, the deputy chairman of Judgment and the chairman of the council secretary, I am aware of the very much. So I want to bring up a point. I want to put everything at the same time. Agents accept everything belief.
we will be launching
The magazine, talking about the spirit of blessing. So I support the students will put it on 500,000 naira. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shadi. Thank you so much, the chairman of the occasion. If you're not inspired, I was inspired. So with a smile on our lips and a clapping ovation and a standing ovation, please let's clap once again for the chairman of the occasion. Thank you. Please have your seats. Have your seats. So I will welcome the keynote speaker in the person of Mr. Emmanuel Oga. Please a round of applause.
Thank you very much, CJ. As usual, good to see you. I totally agree with you. You're the star of this faculty. Hey, you were here, we saw your work, and you inspired a lot of us to go into politics. I remember when I wanted to become president, I came to your room, and you're like, don't worry, you get my back. And indeed, I got your back. Right. Thank you very much. So thank you, the chairman and all our invited guests. Once again, the dean, heads of departments, faculty members representing, dear patron of PANS, chairman of education, deputy chairman just not. Thank you for being here, my colleagues. Greatest of the greatest concerts. Of the greatest concerts. I'm happy to be home, like I said earlier. I bring you greetings. So who's controlling the slides? So your entire job. Look at me. Right? I'm not a fan of saying next slide, so just look at me. I nod or I give you a thumbs up. Please move to the next slide. Right? So I'm going to nod like this. I'm going to so I've done the first one. So look at the right? So I bring you greetings from my class, the 2008 set, represented here. They are aware I'm here today, and they bring you their greetings. I see a lot of people trying to look for me there. All the best. Because it took me a while to locate myself, right? So all the best. That picture, I'm sure you recognize that setting. That's our program. And we had that picture towards our graduation. We were mandated by NFCPS to sing, to come and present a class, present as a class choir. So we had time for a song. We crammed like students would do. We crammed learned a lot from the songs, and then we came to do the rendition. So that was the picture before we delivered the Grammy Award winning performance. Right? But in preparing for that, okay, you probably have to move it a bit. I don't know why it's not showing up. In preparing for that session, the title of the song was "The Days of Elijah" by Donny McCloskey. Now, in preparing for that performance, as part of my cramming, 4 lines stood out to me, and I kept wondering, why would the author of this song or the songwriter immediately is now saying these are the days of famine, right? So you're starting with great triumph, and then you say days of these are the days of famine, right? These are the days of strife, the days of war or swords. And I'm wondering why are you doing here? You were celebrating previously. How did we get to talking about war? But in just a couple of lines later, he brings us back to talk about these are the days of the harvest. And he talks of the fields being all white in the world. If you are a farmer, I'm the child of a farmer, right? And so I understand what it means when the fields are ready. That's the best time for a farmer. And so, in looking at that, do we need... Okay. So in looking at that, I realized that song was not exactly just for fun that we came to sing. Right? We came to sing what in that moment. Sorry, we are going to be doing. Okay.
I'm not like children, I don't have millions here. I hear that, but I heard that. Okay, so supposed to be. So I realized that
song itself, for me, was telling me about what was ahead in this profession that I have chosen. Right? Okay.
Let's move on, please. So
it was telling me what.
Yeah, so we have it completely. These are the days of great triumph, of famine. Please confirm you can hear me anytime the mic goes off. I trust you should be able to hear me. These are the days of great triumph, of famine,
darkness, and sorrow.
And then a few lines down the line, it talks of these are the days of the harvest. The fields are all white in the world. I kept reading.
But guess what? Through the limited time I've spent so far in this journey, these words have been true. Indeed, for us as pharmacists, there has never been a time better than now to be a pharmacist. These are the days of great triumph. In our history, I will not bore us with the history of pharmacy. I'm sure almost everybody here has gone through a session or so in the history of pharmacy. In the history of pharmacy, from those little people from the little works of people trying to mix, right? Pharmacy has evolved into dispensary, evolved into hospital pharmacies. Today we have pharmacies shaping the medical world. These are indeed the days of great triumph. And as I talk of great triumph, I'm going to tell you some of the things that we are seeing in pharmacy. Just last week, in fact, I saw this just yesterday. The pharmacists of 10 years ago will be dreaming of days like this. Days where pharmacists will have the power to prescribe, right, and contribute meaningfully to healthcare. But guess what? We are not in those days. Ozempic is probably the biggest molecule in the world as of today by value, right? Ozempic sustains the economy of a nation. You can go look it up. And now, pharmacists may be handed power to prescribe Ozempic on NHS, right? Still on other progress. Today we say, according to the pharmacy market trends and global forecast, pharmacies are evolving into one-stop shops. Before now,
Everything, when somebody is a pharmacist, the only thing they think of is, where's your chemist? But pharmacies moved beyond that. Pharmacies today are a one-stop shop. I sit in the board of a pharmacy of a pharmaceutical company that is a one-stop shop. And so when you walk in to see the pharmacy, you can just leave their house, right? I want to go to a pharmacy. But when you walk into the pharmacy, from that place, you speak to a pharmacist, the pharmacist directs you to go take a lab test. From the lab test, the pharmacist, you are directed to see a pharmacist. If you need to get a prescription, if you need to see a doctor, you are instantly connected, right? If you need to do a special dose, you are instantly connected. Pharmacies are becoming taking over the place of primary healthcare center because our public systems, I will not say they have failed because I have politicians here, I want to go back home. So our public systems are not doing enough. I think that's the safe answer. So our public systems are not doing enough. And so we have private sector coming up to play that role, right? And so what we do in that company is to ensure that at the primary care level, people get access to quality health. And guess what? Even at that level, a lot of attention is coming. And very recently, we secured a grant of some amount of money to further scale the work that we are doing in that space. We have online pharmacies thriving because there's so much demand. Pharmacists of 20 years ago, 30 years ago, dreamt of being able to be in this position. But guess what? We are in those days now. You as intending pharmacists to our professional colleagues who are pharmacists here, we are in those days now, right? I'm still talking about that. The pharmacy market has never been bigger. So I'm a businessman, you are also really going to my couple, right? The market has never been bigger. At the close of 2024, pharmacy market alone is valued at 2.4 trillion USD. That's how big the market is. And that's how far the market is going, because there's a lot, right? And between 2024 and 2025, by the close of this year, we expect a 5% compound annual growth rate. So a growth rate of 5% over 2.4. Guess what? In another 10 years, this market will go to 4.1 trillion US dollars. So we are in a space where not only are we relevant, but there is value for what you do. And the world recognizes your value, the world pays you for your value, right? Okay, you hear people talking of, I've graduated, I'm looking for a job to do, this is very hard for you to hear from a pharmacy student. But I've graduated and I'm jobless. Because globally, over the next 10 years, it is projected that at least 500,000 pharmacy-related jobs will be available. That's the space where we are, right? So you need to understand where we are. I'm talking about where we have come from, right, and where we are right now. 85% of pharmacy students will secure a job within 6 months of graduation. That's what even doctors cannot brag about, because trust me, a lot of people, and I sit on interviews, practically every month interviewing people, we see people, we hear their stories, how long it's taking, how long they've been in the job market, right? And you just feel grateful. For me, I just feel grateful that I never had that way. I finished induction the following day. Induction. The following day, I resumed internship. And as I was doing my internship, before I landed on internship, I had a job placement waiting for me. And I've been in gainful employment since then, right? That's the blessing of being in pharmacy. Okay? That's the blessing of being in pharmacy. Why is this so? It is because as a pharmacy student, you have access to limitless opportunities. So many opportunities. You can work in different aspects of pharmacy, and like CJ said, even outside pharmacy, right? From pharmacovigilance, regulatory, right, sales and marketing of pharmaceutical products, hospital and community pharmacy, outside pharmacy, where your tentacles can get to is so much that I assure you, not all of us here, no one here has thought of this exhaustively as a pharmacist. And that is why, as pharmacy students, I made it a point of duty that we never take for granted the work of our teachers. The people who grew us to put us in this position, right? You could have been anywhere, But the people who need to be in this position, you must never take for granted the work that they do. And so I'm going to devote a bit and ask every student or everyone who is not a lecturer in pharmacy, please stand up and give a round of applause to our faculty members. Please stand up from a place of gratitude. Right? And a place of gratitude for what you are doing for us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing and definitely a lecturer. Thank you so much. Please. So I've talked about where we have moved to and the current times. But remember the second line of that song. We are also in the days of famine, of darkness, and of sword. So we're in a profession that, as beautiful as it seems, right, as promising as it seems, as evolving as it has been, right, we're in a profession where there is a great risk of obsolescence. A great risk of obsolescence. We are in a profession where people are just comfortable. And a lot of pharmacists are just comfortable. Oh, I'm a pharmacist, I have options. In fact, one of the first fights I had with a senior colleague was during my days as a local pharmacist. Right? I was working in a pharmacy that belonged to a non-pharmacist, and then the state PSN chairman walked in and heard me arguing about the storage condition of a product. And he told me, you have to respect this one that is paying you. Because it's your salary, pharmacy degree can only give you 3 times a meal. You know, if it's equal to 3 times a meal. And instantly, a righteous holiness, a righteous anger got up in me that you cannot tell me this entire thing I've done is just to secure a 3 square meal ticket. It is not. And I told Mr. Chairman, sir, you are wrong. And it is people like you that make people look down on pharmacies. Guess what? This statement, today, I know that statement is bad. I shouldn't have made it. But this statement took me in front of the panel. Right? And I explained myself. I was forgiven. Right? But that is where we are. Because we have colleagues who are comfortable. I've graduated from pharmacy. Oh, I'm now a lecturer. Oh, I now own a pharmacy. I now own a business. And so I'm comfortable where I am. But guess what? Obsolescence. Obsolescence sets in because people become irrelevant. And the truth is, what binds most of our professionals is not the fact that they are ignorant. It's not. It's their attachment to what they already know. What they feel is correct, right? But there is a cost to pay. And the cost of not learning is pain in irrelevance. You become irrelevant in that profession. You cannot do the story of every pharmacist that is here, right? May we not become obsolescent, may we not become comfortable, right, in being pharmacists, and then we lose relevance. Okay? We have increasing cases of ethical dilemmas, corruption, and other challenging realities. What pharmacists are facing out there today, in this profession that so many people have labored, right, to get us to where we are, from thousands of years to are actively working to ensure that the profession doesn't progress, right? So I'm going to have to call your name. I thought of people being comfortable where they are. A 2023 study here in Nigeria, this is not from another part of the world, showed that 47.1% of Nigerian pharmacists, nearly half of us, are not committed to professional development. They are just comfortable being a pharmacist. They are comfortable being lecturers. They are comfortable being... Oh, fantastic. Ah, okay, you have delivered me from nothing. Right? So nearly half of pharmacists are not committed to professional development. But remember what I said. The risk of refusing to learn, the cost is paid in irrelevance. You become irrelevant at some point. Right? When we talk of corruption, when we talk of how colleagues are frustrating other colleagues, guess what? Rising incidences of corruption and professional misconduct. Recently I heard, and then I confirmed, that some internship candidates are asked by fellow pharmacists, by public officers, people in civil service, to make payments before they get an internship slot. What an aberration. What a horrible way to live, right? That you look at your life and the opportunity to improve the next person, you want to exploit the person. But the question is this limited only to civil servants?
What are you doing as a 500 level student in your position to help a 100 level student? In your position to help a 200 level student? What are you doing as a past ESCO in your position of trust, holding forth the past views that will fight every year to agree with you to the limit? Right? What are you doing? That is where we find ourselves. Right? Hostile politics, as hearing about the struggle about moving this faculty to youth, and I was just shaking my head. Hurtful politics. All over the world, everybody is looking at how to get better. How can we be better? And I'll show you some examples as we go on. How do we get better? But in this part of the world, we are still fighting about consultant position. The world has moved on. The world has left our tribe behind, right? Because we are comfortable with looking at how we can keep this other person behind me. So it's not a function of you taking what I have, because what I have stays with me. But it is to make sure that you don't get up to what I have. What a beautiful way to live, right? But that is what we are facing. Doctors, pharmacists fighting betting over appointment of consultants. In fact, where I did my internship, every Monday meeting was a war. We have two factions. So this is not about doctors and pharmacists or other people. This was in-house. We had two factions. One person was HOD, the other person felt he should have been HOD. And so every meeting, when the HOD proposing something, whether it's good or bad, his hand will be up. Whatever happens, his hand will be up. And he's busy engineering and trying to, subvert what the HOD was doing. Okay? Hostile politics that do not take us anywhere. When we can be joining hands together to grow, when we can be joining hands together to improve. So these are the days, and we must not be ignorant. Again, I make bold to say that the reason we find ourselves in positions like this is because we have allowed obsolescence kick in. If you are staying relevant, if you are improving yourself, trust me, value will chase you. Value will chase you at every time. But some people will rather take the inconvenience of not learning, right, and pay the price of irrelevance. And so we find ourselves in this position. That is the reality. So those are the days, right? But outside that, let's not also forget that these are the days of harvests and white fields. The opportunities for us as pharmacists, intending pharmacy students, existing pharmacists, our lecturers, every pharmacist here, the opportunities are massive. We've seen advancements in farm tech. We've seen a great level of advancement in pharmaceutical technology. And for us in Surgeon, what we are currently doing is to find how we can leverage technology. So I understand I'm also supposed to speak tomorrow, right? How we can leverage technology to make popular medications that have been existing all over the world, right? To make them particularly useful for us here in the black world. So we're not just taking medication that has been prepared in the white world and the rest of Europe and the rest, but we're taking inventing those same medications. So even something as simple as omeprazole, right? We're inventing it to be more relevant to the generic makeup of the black man. That's advancement in pharmaceutical technology. We are in the days of telepharmacy and remote services. In 2020, when the world was under the attack of COVID, right, where I used to work as country manager at Helium Health, what we were doing was promoting digitalization of hospitals. And for the first time in my life, I was invited by a state government, put on a private plane, taking there, and I said, I cannot sleep in the because I cannot sleep in the hotel, I don't trust their COVID protocol. That private plane took me back. Had an escort waiting, that would never have happened if I did not get the training I have. By the virtue of your training as a pharmacist, every establishment, businesses, technical sectors, they know that you have been built. So they know it's just a little one thing I need to tell this person. Other than that, he is good. Right? And so from that position, we are able to not only open the activation center in Lagos, but in a couple of other places. Everybody in this country that traveled in or out of Nigeria during that COVID year paid us some money because we established the Bali passport. Right? So for every plane ticket you book, we are getting something back. Guess what? Telepharmacy, remote services. These are harvests, and the world has not even touched the little. of it. There's still so much to be made. Interprofessional collaborations. In sectors where they are not fighting over who wants to be a consultant and who will not be a consultant. You see how doctors are working with pharmacists and nurses, and they are doing great things together. You see how pharmacists are working with pharmacists, and they are doing great things together. These are the days of harvests and white fields. How are you preparing yourself for this harvest? How are you preparing yourself for this opportunity? Right? I talk of opportunities in technical services. When Vodacom and MTN and Airtel were setting up shop in Nigeria, guess which singular profession made the highest number of their pharmacists or of their managers? Pharmacists. Pharmacists made the highest number by profession, right, of any profession among their managers, because they need these people. They have been built. If you can be diligent in providing pharmaceutical care, all I need to teach you probably how to code. It's probably how to manage people, which by the way you are also got here, right? I don't need to teach you how to do business, because I was taught business by our patron here, right? We need to be more discussing, because apart from teaching, we also give us some cook, right? So we need to be taught in his classes, right? I was taught business, and today I lead businesses. I provide advisory services for businesses, both within and outside pharma, within and outside the country. But it started from this building. It started from this building. That's the opportunity that is available for you as a pharmacist, right? And I'm not just saying about myself. In fact, I'm not going to be giving my story. I'm going to give a couple of stories. I've picked 3 friends, right? And I have their permission to do this, to share how they have moved from pharmacy into other aspects of life. Some are doing, I don't want to even tell you the amount this guy has generated in grants and funding for his research. He started as a hospital pharmacist, picked an interest in our disease, and he was like, I need to know a lot more about this thing. So he went into research, became an academic, right? Became an academic. And today in Australia and New Zealand, 2 countries combined, between those 2 countries, Emmanuel teaches and grows the next generation of pharmacists, right? Focusing on the role of genetics in the risk of Alzheimer's disease and comorbidities. That is a pharmacist. That is a pharmacist that is harvesting the white fields, right? The next one is a very close friend of mine, Kunet Ibekwe. I call her by her middle name, so Oluchi. Oluchi is a family holder like many of you will soon be, right? She's a board certified oncology pharmacist. So while we are still here thinking of who will be consultants and who will not be consultants and all of that, guess what? We have pharmacists who have made heavy strides and are not only in prescribing positions, but are in positions where they are influencing how the medical world is thinking. The days of great harvests and white fields. How are you preparing yourself for those days? Lastly, my very good friend, a friend now at LBS, Samuel Biakamu. All of us here know OP. This man was part of the base that developed OP, a pharmacist. Graduated in pharmacy, right, got an MBA, and then he has moved from pharma to telecom. Last weekend I was like, I used to be a pharmacist.